I'm all enigmatic. It's because I got my salt lamp on. Mark's out there making a racket. I've been up for 2 hours. I went because I got really bad. My back's in spasm. Anyway, so I've been starting to get up at 5:30 and go for little rambles. Only around the block. And then sit down in the garden and try and do some mindfulness. Not very good at it. And then next door's cat comes along and is tame enough to sit in my lap now. And then I give him some fish. And then Mark's eventually up. And then we went for another little 2-minute walk and got a lot of pain. But this is my favourite time of year, autumn. And it's when I actually... Is it autumn? Even if it isn't, it feels like it. It's when I actually don't mind having a little walk around, because most people can't be bothered. So bear with those, if you're listening to that reading of the Lost Gods thing I'm doing. Yesterday's was a fucking disaster. And it was like in 4 parts because I was in pain, needed a break, and then the phone kept cutting out because I'd run out of storage. But if you got through the first bit and thought it was quite good, God, I got itching everywhere. And then you thought, this is a bull's ache, fucking hell. All these bits. Stick with it because it actually got quite good, the last couple. It wasn't so much me not being able to say the words. It actually got quite good. And I'm going to read out one of the passages by itself for the people that can't be arsed with that shit that I did yesterday, because it was actually really good. And I think it kind of relates to what I was thinking about today, having a little walk. I need to do this little walk more often. Oh, my leg. It's the only time I get any ideas. So I was like sitting out there, doing some mindfulness, trying to just listen to the birds. There's hundreds of birds right here. And then this bloody motorbike or something went up the road and ruined it. But, you know, if I was being proper at mindfulness, I would have just listened to the motorbike as well as the birds, but pissed me off. And I've thought this loads of times. Mark, you can come in if you want. I've thought this loads of times when I've been out there in the morning before there's too many cars, and I think about our ancestors and how you can stay in here if you want.
I will. I'll make coffee first.
Yeah, I've got a hot water bottle for me ouchies.
Yeah, you ouchies.
Don't bloody do nothing. Oh, sometimes it used to, but this one's a bad one. I don't know how I've even done this one. Our ancestors would have just listened to the birds, and they wouldn't have had and just looked at the clouds, and they wouldn't have had no chemtrails or no cars or power tools or all of that nonsense. You know, I don't think we think enough about light pollution and noise pollution. You know, it does fuck up your circadian whatnots. The light. It's really bad for you. Been trying to Ow! That's why I'm sat here, because that salt bulb is only powered by a little light that you'd have in your cooker to light the cooker up. You know, little thing. Anyway. So I was just trying to think backwards and backwards and backwards. And I was like, well, evolution then, you know, since we invented, this is how I thought, the Industrial Revolution and all of that, and then, you know, combustion engine, and we thought that's a good thing. It can get us to our job further away, quick. You know, we didn't even think that was a bit of a stupid thing to do. Oh, good. We can go further away. to work, which will take us more time to be away from our families. Oh good, we can fly across the world. And what's happening? You know, I can't stand my neighbours, but I yearn for Norway. So unhappy, and it's made us feel more unsatisfied with our lot, even though technically we can do more and go more places and do more things and see more things. Because of that, we're actually not really as contented maybe as we used to be. Oh, my back. So I was just thinking in my little head. So before that, you know, and I was like saying to Mark on the second walk, I've got a bad neck as well. Maybe it's just a natural part of this evolution thing, because you can't go back and get rid of all of the, well, they're trying to get rid of the cars, but they're trying to replace them with electric cars, but we can't get rid of our lifestyle now, which is really bad for humans. I think the lifestyle we've evolved for ourselves is really unhealthy. And I've got a good point to make, and some people are going to be pissed off with me. Bear with to the end. So I said to Mark, because of this knowledge and this evolution, etc., and evolving, whatever, you know, learning these new techniques and learning all the stuff to make life more technical, can't go back, not now, unless there's a massive boom. Like there won't be. Can't go back because we can't even, you know, my granddad's granddad would have remembered a time without cars. My kids can't remember a time without computers and phones. So you can't go back. So the natural evolution of this shit is technological transhumanism. That is, bear with, because I think I've come up with an important thing here. That is the natural evolution of the humans on this pathway. Bear with, because I think I've come up with a point. At the end of this, I'll say it. So transhumanism is the natural progression for humans on this pathway that we're on, okay? So then I started thinking about, you know, the caveman, and he invented the fire and the wheel and all that. And then I started thinking about before that. And then we know the Bible is like lots of myths all bunged into the Bible. You know, lots of pagan mythologies and all this, that and the other is where the Bible gets its stories from. But because I'm more au fait at the moment with the Bible and the stories in the Bible, I'm just going to talk about it in those terms rather than the ones that I'm trying to learn now. And that's the whole point of reading that Lost Gods of England book, the pagan versions, etc., of where the Christians and that got it from anyway. But I know more about the Bible at the moment, but I'm trying to amend that. So go back to the Garden of Eden and think about Lucifer. And Lucifer's a light bringer, right? And anti-Christians or anti the Bible, or think Lucifer's a good thing because he brought light and stopped this oppressive God being our boss. And so it's kind of trendy to, I don't think trendy is the right word. I channel my words, I will say. Other people don't care. They just say what they think. So I'm going to, maybe not trendy, maybe just newer thinking, because we're getting out of the thinking, we're getting out of like religious thinking. It's hard to explain. So where Lucifer was bad and blah 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 blah, you know, it's like, oh no, low key Lucifer, and he was just brought us the knowledge and he's a light bringer. And I'm not saying it very well because I'm not 100% know what I'm talking about, but I get little, instead of thoughts, I get intuitions. I always have, and so I try and put them into words, and it don't always work. And the snake in the Garden of Eden giving Eve the knowledge, and you know, back in the day we would have said, oh, that was bad, because God said stay as children and don't bite the apple of knowledge. And now modern day us is like, oh, well, that's a bit oppressive. This bloody bloke with a beard telling humans, oh, not to have the same knowledge as he's got. What a bastard. Oh, I'm glad that the snake gave us knowledge, or Lucifer brought the knowledge, or whatever. And I thought that, oh yeah, I see what you mean. Bloody hell. And you think, bloody hell, God, I see what you mean. We wouldn't have evolved to this otherwise. See my point? See my fucking point? We wouldn't have evolved, we wouldn't have had the knowledge to get here if it wasn't for whatever, the Lucifer bringing the knowledge or whatever it is, and the snake. See my fucking point? We're on that pathway because the Nephilim and all that came down and said, showed the women how to beautify themselves and gave the men knowledge of how to fucking farm and shit like that, okay? And it was because of farming and learning how to do that that we started making too many crops, and then other people started profiting from that, and then there became famine because of greed. So I think I've come full circle. I think we're on the wrong path for human beings and the biblical people, and that's what I know the most. So don't shoot me and don't have a go at me for my lack of pagan knowledge. I'm trying now, trying my hardest to figure it out. They called it the fall, and I was like, no. I went through that, and then I went through, oh no, it's good to have the knowledge, or else otherwise we'd be under this oppressive God. I've come full circle. And I kind of think that it wasn't this big, you know, this oppressive God with a big white beard. I think God's life force, and I think God's within us. And when God said, you know, stay as children in the Garden of Eden or whatever, I think we would have been better off as doing that. That doesn't mean we would have all been Luddites or whatever it is, and we would have just been on a different human evolutionary path, and we would have evolved completely differently. So this pathway we're on now was brought about by, biblical people say, the fall, the knowledge from the snake, and then all of a sudden in modern day us go, oh no, it was good that they gave them that, oh, but no, I'm going back with different reasons for thinking that wasn't a good thing. And if we'd have just been left to our own fucking devices, we would still have evolved, but not to this point. Not to the only next stage now is transhumanism. Look out your window. I literally read a thing. It popped up, like I say, it pops bloody up. Or was it like in my scrolling through YouTube? I ain't clicked on it. Some school defends the fact that it employed a drag queen with previous child porn convictions. That's the world we live in now. We live in a world now where women are too scared to say what women are. Men think that they can just come into girls' bathrooms, get their dick out, and we're not allowed to say anything. women having their tits chopped off. We live in a satanic, whatever that word means. Don't go getting all pagans. Don't care. We all know what I mean when I say satanic. So don't go throwing your dummy out your pram. Whatever I mean satanic, I mean the opposite to good. All right. So don't go getting fucking stroppy about that. We live in whatever the opposite to good is, and I'm going to say satanic. Okay. And that's natural too, because the on the fucking hell, the what's it called, the Kali Yuga, we're in Dvapara. That's the electrical age, but they're using it wrong. We're using it wrong. It was always going to be the electrical age now, but what would that have meant if we hadn't have had the fall? What would that have meant if we were on our proper human evolutionary path? What would going into the electrical age have meant? Because it's all about frequencies, brain frequencies. Maybe we would have been telepathic. Maybe that's what I've said this before. Atlantis. Oh, my back. Maybe they were all telepathic and they used the frequencies. And that's how the stones were moved, and megaliths and all of these amazing structures and the pyramids. And that was the technology, maybe, of when humans were on the right path. I don't know. I'm just thinking, when I go for a walk, I think I get more oxygen to my brain or something. But I'm starting to reject all this, positive light bringing Lucifer stuff at the moment. Until I don't, because I go round in circles. But does that make sense? We're on this path now because of the fall, whether you like it or not, whatever that is. And I don't take it literally. I don't think there was a talking snake, all right? But the natural, that's all he's got to bloody add to this bloody conversation, sneezing his head off. The natural path for the human now, the natural path on this pathway is transhumanism. It is now. Whereas before it wouldn't have been. And that's why I yearn for the Shire. Just want to go back to them days, but we can't, no. We can in our heads, in our hearts. But there would have been people back in my grandpa's days that would have been looking at them cars and thinking, nah, they would have been like us back then. Going, this isn't right. And look where we are. Just look out the window. Look at the news. Just go and look at the news and the newspapers and the censorship and the satanic paedophile world that they want. They actually do want that. So what does that mean? Same as what I said yesterday, I suppose. Keep laughing, be like water, and try not to let the fucking cunts get you down. Am I right?
You're not wrong.
He just said you're not wrong. You can't hear him. Let's see if we can find him. This is the messy room, so don't judge. Oh, Mark, sit forward because my back hurts. I can't come all the way round. Here, put your arse there a minute. You're waving, but I'm only video in the back of my chair. So that was a bit of a depressing, moody one, but not really.
You tried to end on a positive.
I did. Is your face there? Because I can't see.
Yes, unfortunately it is.
Got anything to say on the matter?
Well, I was just thinking when you were saying about the electrical age.
A bit louder.
This is the electrical universe. The whole
Hold that.
universe.
I need to get a coffee.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. I don't know if
Keep
I've got...
going, babe.
Oh, Christ. Well...
Make sure it's on your face, like you just your chin.
I haven't fully formed thoughts, to be honest. Caught me on the op, but everything is electricity, or the universe is electricity. So, yeah, I think when you were saying about we're going into the electrical age, the way that the path that we've gone on or been set on is maybe the ultimate end of that is AI and transhumanism. But what would have been the alternative if we'd gone down a different route? And yes, I think quite possibly previous civilizations did have a different connection with the electrical universe. So now in our heads, when we think of electricity, we think of the modern implements that we have made that channel, that use electricity, and it's like we've created it, and we've made these outlets like the laptops and the mobile phones that I'm talking on now. But electricity is all around us. It's part of the universe. It's part of the world, and everything. It's part of us. So we're all connected with that. So in a way, we became divided from our connection to that natural electricity, if you
100%.
like.
He says it better than me.
And then, I don't think so. But in this, it's the whole thing. Oh yeah, we're progressing and we're making these things that we could never make before, because mankind is achieving some greatness. But it's like, well, actually, we've gone away from greatness that we've had, and we've actually regressed, as Liz has said many times in the past. But yeah, I suppose all I mean from that is going into the electrical age should and could mean something completely different, and by saying that you don't want to engage with modern technology, it doesn't mean you're rejecting this electrical energy which can transform the world, transform everything. We maybe need to get away from the constructions that have chained us, and get a more natural connection with that electricity.
Maybe like Tesla was doing.
Well, yeah, Tesla, absolutely. But then, unfortunately, again, what his inventions, it's one of those again where it gets twisted, and they've used it to make all these things again.
But they've used it to divide us even more from nature, even more from our natural selves, because we're electrical impulses in the brain. Everybody knows that. And electric universe and all of that. But they've divided us and made us feel yet again another separation from nature. You're a human being made of flesh and blood. Electric is a man-made thing that is contained in a box, and it's nothing to do with you. It's separate from you. But we've got powers. I mean, for fuck's sake, the quartz in the rocks and that can, what that can do. Our ancestors knew how to harness electricity through sound, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that bloody singing bowl up there, the racket that makes. But the vibrations in me then, I feel it. So we're going to the electrical age to Vipara, and I think the last time we went through it was when we were doing things like that. Moving the bloody stones. Because we understood the frequencies and the electric, and we understood how to use it properly. And we're coming into the electrical age again, and they know that, or we're in it. And this time round, because of the fall, we're not on a natural pathway with it. So satanic, or whatever word you want to use for that.
Yeah.
So what can we do? Just knowing it breaks a bit of the spell. I
Well,
think.
yeah, and I suppose ultimately trying to get your individual connection to the source, for want of a better word, or this natural electricity. Trying to be more connected to that.
Because it's trapping us. It is trapping us, and I know this for a fact because I've got really. The reason I'm out and about on my travels is because I've got a really bad back, which means I'm staying indoors. I'm sitting down more, listening to some nonsense on Netflix or videos on YouTube. But that's becoming a trap, and it's making me happy to do that, which is breaking my body. And so what I did was I forced myself out of bed the last 2 days at 5:30 in the morning. The last 2 days, I've got back onto YouTube doing these sort of videos to piss everybody off. But what that's done probably is getting out and about. It has sparked my brain electrons. Every time I'm talking, I can hear, ooh. I think it's that.
Yeah, it is.
It's the bowl. Every time we talk, the bowl is vibrating. It does it with that that drum. Can you see the drum? No, I know you can see the drum, but can you see the drum on here?
Yes.
Oh, what are you doing?
It's there, everybody.
Oh my god. So vibrations, drums, electric. There's Satanism. To sum it up. Look at your face.
And there's your Saturday morning message.
It's autumn, so get ready for more of these because I love autumn. I think I'm going to have my notice in on Monday.
Okay.